Pickleball has continuously become faster throughout the past 5 years, let alone the last year. We have seen a major increase in the overall speed of paddles and the overall speed ups that people are hitting. People are hitting way more drives than they were drops. But does that mean that we should give up on the drop altogether? Does it mean that drops are dead or that they're dying? Obviously not, because the drop is always going to be a major part of the game to be able to help us to transition up to the kitchen and turn defense into offense. Now, what I will say is that just merely hitting a dead drop is no longer going to work, and you're going to be left behind in 2025 if all that you're doing is pushing your drop over the net and giving it a nice loop to land into the kitchen. When someone of high level attacks that ball, the point is going to be instantly over, or they're always going to have the advantage. They're always going to be on offense. You're never going to have the opportunity to take advantage of the point. And so in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to hit the modern third shot drop so that you can instantly take advantage of the point, get up to the net, and create offense directly from defense on that third shot. This is Austin with the Pickleball Playbook YouTube channel. Let's open the playbook. This video is brought to you by the Pickleball Drills app. It is the #1 app in all of pickleball with over 10,000 success stories. If you want to improve your pickleball game, you have to start drilling, and the best way to do that is to drill with professional instruction. So pros like Judith Castillo, Jack Monroe, Colin Chick will teach you specific tips and strategies and techniques to be able to elevate your game. If you haven't tried out the Pickleball Drills app, you can use code PLAYBOOK and get 50% off your first month and start improving your game now. So today we're going to be talking about two very specific drops that we want to be using so that we can automatically turn defense into offense on that third shot. Now obviously there's a 5th shot drop, there's a 7th shot drop. We're not really going to be covering what to do on those. This really encompasses all of them. So if you can do this on your 5th shot, that's great. If you can do it on your 7th shot, that's great. Sometimes when someone hits a deep return and we're on defense mode, it's not going to make sense to try to hit an offensive drop. Instead, we want to drive that ball on the 3rd shot of the rally. They hit the 4th shot of the rally. The 5th shot comes back, and then we could hit an offensive drop on that shot since we set ourselves up for it. So keep that in mind. This isn't just exclusive to the 3rd shot, although that's what I'm mainly going to be talking about. When our opponents hit us just a neutral return, and then we can automatically turn that neutralness or that neutral return into an offensive opportunity. So the first drop that we're going to be talking about is what's known as the drip, or the drive drop combo. So you put those two words together, you get the drip. And the great thing about the drip is that it's not only fast and gets on our opponents fast, it stays low and it has loads of topspin. So when it lands, if it lands near our opponent's feet or if it lands to the side of our opponents, it kicks off. It automatically puts them in defense mode. So the way that you're gonna hit a drip is you're gonna act like you're hitting a forehand drive, and then you're simply, instead of coming way outwards and upwards through the shot, you're going to come upwards and you're going to create this windshield wiper. So let's talk about that motion. So the first thing that you're going to do, as soon as you know that it's to your forehand side or to your backhand side, you're going to do what's called a unit turn. You're going to turn your shoulders towards the side fence with the tip of your paddle up. The reason that you want the tip of your paddle up is because we're going to be dropping our paddle down and then coming up. And it's almost like it's a roller coaster where it slowly gets faster. If instead you start low and then come up from there, you're stopping that kinetic chain. You're stopping that roller coaster from happening. So if you start low, you stop here, and then you're going forward. You just lost all of your momentum. So you're having to start from scratch at the bottom. So when you turn, make sure that that paddle tip is up. The next thing that you're going to do is let gravity take hold. You're just going to relax down and then slowly accelerate. It's all about acceleration. So we relax down, accelerate, and then you're simply going to brush up that ball and try to keep everything on your dominant side of your body, on the forehand side, on the backhand side, everything on the non-dominant side. We don't want to come across our body. That's going to be way too big of a motion. So we want to keep this motion nice and concise. We're looking to get tons of spin. So I like to think about, as soon as I relax and come down that roller coaster, I'm going to lift upwards and create a windshield wiper. So I act like this is a windshield wiper coming across the glass of a windshield, and instead I'm just brushing the back side of that ball. Down the roller coaster, brush the back side of the ball. Notice how it's literally, I meet the ball out in front of me, and then I brush. Everything stays on that side. It's a super simple motion, but that is going to create that drip, where it goes over the net, it gets to your opponents fast, and it automatically creates that offense. So same thing on the backhand side. I turn that tip high and then I relax. And then I brush outwards and upwards with a whole lot more upwards. The difference between that and an actual drive is that when I'm hitting a drive, I'm gonna go outwards and upwards through my shot and I'm finishing way over my shoulder. Here, everything just stays out in front. It's a really concise motion where I'm brushing up that ball and automatically putting it into the kitchen. A couple of years back, there was this one player that had the drip before anybody else had it, and he would just go through and destroy everybody, just simply because he could hit that drip, and it was like we had to stop hitting our returns to him. It was our only hope. Because once we were at the kitchen, all things were kind of equal. But as soon as he'd hit that drip, it would put us automatically on defense, and we were popping up ball after ball after ball. So your main goal with that drip is to get that spin on the ball. It's not so much about power, it's way more about actually getting that spin on the ball. The way that you're gonna get that spin is through that windshield wiper motion. And remember, I'm not closing my paddle face over the ball, meaning my paddle face isn't towards the ground. I'm keeping it upwards, almost towards the sky as I hit that back side of the ball here. Almost that back bottom side. If there was like a point in between the bottom and the back, that's kind of where we're brushing. And you want to think that this ball has some hair on it and you're trying to shave that hair off. So we're here, shave that hair off. But that is the drip. It's a super effective shot so that you can automatically turn defense or a neutral ball into offense. All right, number 2 is going to be a great shot for those that are beginner and intermediate. I would definitely say that the drip is a more advanced shot. If you're just starting in pickleball or you're anywhere from 4.0 and below, I don't recommend practicing the drip. But this is a shot that you can do no matter what your level is. And that is the off-pace drive. So the off-pace drive is kind of a drop in a way because we're not hitting it at 70%. Instead, we're hitting this ball at like 40%. And so the reason that I say not hitting it at 70% is whenever you're hitting a drive, an offensive drive, if you go 100% as hard as you can, the odds of you hitting that ball in is like maybe 1 out of 20 times. So it's not very good odds. If instead you hit it 70%, that takes those odds up to like 80%. You're gonna be very consistent at 70%. And what you'll be surprised at is that when you drive at 70%, you end up winning so many more points. And it still is a really difficult shot for your opponents to hit. So instead we're hitting this at about 40, 50%. Okay, it's an off-pace drive. And your whole goal is to place this at the returner, okay, at the returner's feet specifically. The reason you want to go to the returner is because they're moving forward into the court. They're off balance. They're not established at the kitchen. They can't create offense. So when you hit them this 40%er, now it's going to be landing at their feet. It automatically puts them into a defensive position. Now the way that you're going to set this up all comes down to your serve. And the best way to get your opponents to come in late is to hit a deep serve. Okay, I'm not saying deep as in it's out, but deep in the court, in the back third of the court. If you find that you have a hard time hitting serves deep, again, aim higher over the net. The higher you aim over the net, the deeper your ball is automatically going to go. So you set that up with the serve. Now they're a little bit late coming in, and now you're just going to give them a nice 40%er. This is a shot that you're going to be able to hit in like 95% of the time. You're just extremely comfortable with it. Your whole goal is to aim it at the feet of your opponents. If you think about the beginner to intermediate level, the amount of points that are up at the net are like next to none if you watch a match. And then all of a sudden you get up above that 4.0 level and it's like 25, 50% of those points are up at the net. Then you get above that level and it's like 75% of the points are up at the net. So obviously as you go up levels, you're gonna have more points up at the net. But since majority of points, you're never getting up to the net, that's why you're losing. And so regardless of your level, if you can just do that 40% drive at the returner, you're gonna have a lot better chance of getting up to the net. And the reason that you wanna get up to the net is because the best of the best get up to the net on like 90% of their points. So if you can get up to the net, you're gonna get to where all things are neutral and all things are equal. Then you can create offense from there. So if you wanna get up more, try that 40%. Anybody can do it, that's the great part about it, that 40% drive. Then you can get up to the net. I'm telling you, they're gonna pop up that ball over and over and over again, especially at those levels. And you're gonna be able to get up into the net. You're gonna change the statistic just by simply hitting that shot. So I know a lot of you guys out there are thinking, isn't this a drop video? And I talked about the off-pace drive. You could also say that it's the faster drop, but I think that it's easier to explain as an off-pace drive. Implement that instead of your normal push drop. You're gonna be able to do that even if you're on the run. Let's say that they hit a great return, you're on the run, and you're in a defensive position, you hit 40% at their feet, you're gonna be in really good hands rather than merely popping that ball up for them to then attack again. So try those 2 strategies. I know that they'll really help your game. I know that this was a super short and simple video, but pickleball is a simple sport. So the more simple that we can keep it, the better players that we're gonna be and the more matches that we're gonna win. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe and watch this video right here if you wanna continue improving your pickleball game, and I'll see you over there. Peace.